need it fixed for the morning. Full name is Lisa Stassburg, well, Lisa Trevelyan Stassburg if they're going to be technical. I was born in Durban and raised in Pietermaritzburg, which was very interesting. I escaped as soon as I could. Growing up, didn't really have the religious family so much. My grandparents were very religious and they raised my mom very religious, but she branched out of religion pretty quickly and raised us, I say us because there's 4 of us, to think for ourselves, explore different religions and kind of find what fits you, what works for you, what resonates with you, and what doesn't. So she was very much a spiritual person, and I think I took a lot of that, whereas my siblings didn't. I took a lot of that and put it into practice just in my life. Yeah, absolutely. My father played the bagpipes and was in the tattoos is what they call them, is when they have all of the bands together from a certain area and they all go and perform. He was, I can't remember what they called it, it's been a long time since I've been in that world, but he was like the major of the whole event. He was one of those people that could pick up an instrument and fiddle around and play with the chords, and he would master that instrument. So he was definitely more musical than anything else. I mean, I was reading music before I was reading words. I was sitting at a piano playing piano. My earliest memory of that, it was about 3 or 4. So, and he used to doodle, and I never really put it together until I was older that his doodling was actually really good. Really, really good. He would do caricatures and they were amazing. And unfortunately, I have nothing of it left. He passed away shortly after my 10th birthday, and there's so much I wish I could ask now, and so much that I wish I could have seen still that he would have come up with. And so the artistic side has definitely come from not only him, from my mom as well, but she wasn't as focused on it as he was. She was running a household, so but it's definitely come from both of them, and more so my dad. I think I would have loved to have followed in his footsteps. I mean, when he was doing the pipes, I was doing Highland dancing. I was completely dedicated to it, absolutely loved it. I still have my kilt, not that it fits, but it's there. I think music would have been a bigger passion in my life had he been around for longer. I tried to pick it up myself. I tried to teach myself guitar, and I had a friend that was helping me as well. But I have the ear for it, but it just didn't take. It just didn't take the same way. I'll start with the history, if that's okay. So, my first memory of ever being good at art was sitting in grade 3, and we were doing Afrikaans. And our teacher had read us an Afrikaans story and wanted us to create a picture of the story. And it was a kid with his dog, and they were outside in the yard playing with a ball. And so that's what I drew. And I remember distinctly my grade 3 teacher coming to me and going on and on and on about how great it was. And I looked at the other kids' work and I was like, maybe I do have something here. And that's when I really realized that I actually had a bit of talent. I did art in school as a subject in high school in Pietermaritzburg, and that was the sum total of me doing any kind of professional lessons, if you want to call them that, if it even is. We spent more time giving my art teacher a hard time than doing any of the actual work. But there were some girls in the class that were really phenomenal at what they did. And I would look at their work and I'd look at my work and I'd try and measure up and I'd try and measure up and I'd try and measure up. And for a long time I would sketch and I would meet people and they would inspire me to pick up a pencil again. I found that I would stop drawing for a little while. A year or two would go by and then I'd pick up a pencil again. And I'd shock myself because what was there before was still there. And somehow it had gotten better even though I hadn't picked up a pencil in a really long time. And then I'd start getting inspired to do it again. And it would fade off, and it was this constant cycle of having gaps in between of doing the work because I was just doing it for me. I wasn't doing it for any bigger reason or bigger results. It was just for me. After school, I dabbled a bit. I was a shift worker, so I had a lot of time to sit and draw because of the shift work and stuff. And the last drawing I did, as opposed to just now recently, was 8 years ago. A picture of my second born, just a close-up face shot of him. And that's the last drawing I did until recently. It kind of hit me that I needed to start drawing again. And I now want to take it a lot further than I was ever inspired to do before. So I think the 8-year gap was mainly due to having become a mom and losing mine. I spent a lot of time in survival mode just trying to figure life out and raise my kids. And when I say I'm on my own, I am completely on my own. And I spent more time focusing on being a mom and making sure I had an income and making sure my kids were okay, and falling down hard a few times to the point where I didn't know which way was up or down anymore. And recently I was talking to somebody and explaining their entire family purchases a lot of art. They've got artwork all over their home. And I just casually mentioned that, no, I draw. I haven't drawn in a long time, but I draw. And this person specifically said, well, why don't you pick up a pencil? Let me give you an idea of something I'd like you to draw for me. And let's go with it. And I started drawing it. And since then, I've kind of created a routine for myself. So my working days officially are Thursdays, Fridays, Saturdays, and Sundays. So Monday, Tuesday, Wednesday, I have to myself. So normal, crazy morning routine with kids. Get them up, get them ready, get them fed, get them out the door, drop them off at school. And I will come and sit here for the duration of them being at school and draw. And it has possibly been one of the best decisions I have made for myself. I have sat inside mostly of the coffee shop because I don't want to be out in the public eye. And the other day I was kind of forced to sit outside. They had a whole bunch of ladies inside and I decided just to come and sit here and do my art. And the amount of people that stopped and spoke to me and encouraged and said, wow, they can't believe that I'm busy drawing that. I mean, I'm a common face around here. Everyone's used to me. I'm a local. And you kind of don't know you don't know people. We all take people at face value, and I don't think anybody expected it. I mean, I didn't expect to be sitting drawing either. And here I am. And the amount of people that turned around and said the most amazing things has also been really inspiring. I'm like, maybe I should be doing this. Maybe I should be pursuing this. All this time that I've spent doubting that I really could get to any kind of really good level, to the point where this could be a thing. This could be an income. This could be the saving grace for my kids and myself. It's a talent that I've been sitting on and not using for 8 years. So it's time. So my style of artwork is, my medium is definitely pencil. I like hyperrealism, and I'm a perfectionist. And I kind of drive myself crazy because I can take a long time to pull off a drawing, because I get very frustrated because I want perfection. There's other artists out there that have got the most amazing styles, and it's so, to an untrained eye, it looks so slapdash, and I would love to be able to do things like that, but I can't. My style is, I need it to be as realistic and on point as possible, and it's lovely, but it's frustrating at the same time because I get in my head a lot. And so it can take me a while. I can take up to 2 weeks to finish a portrait. If I'm dedicating those specific 3 days of and it's sitting here all day, I can get it done in about 2 weeks. But then I have gone over every single detail meticulously and driven myself completely up the wall to come right with it. So I wish I could do it faster, but it's just, this is my pace, this is how I do it, and I've had to accept that. To be very honest with you, I've kind of stayed off of the online thing. I've looked at art every now and again, and I haven't really gone into it too much, because at times, when self-doubt starts hitting in, I look at people's work and I'm like, I'm never going to get to that level. So instead of finding it inspiring, I kind of started finding it demotivating, and I'd stop drawing, because I think to myself, well, there's other people out there that can manage this and get to that level. I'm never going to get there. They're already there, so why am I even trying? So I haven't really followed very many people. I see some really fantastic things at times, and those I can't say who they were by. I don't know. I wasn't paying enough attention to it. But every now and again, there's one piece that strikes me, and then I pick up a pencil, and again, I'm like, right, I'm gonna do this. I'm going to do this. So there's no one specific person. There's lots of inspirations out there, and unfortunately, as is human nature, you kind of get to the point where what should be inspiring you isn't inspiring you, and you get yourself down on it. And that's unfortunately a space I slipped into. That's the thing, is I've never actually sold my art. I've always done it for myself, or I've always done it as a gift for somebody else. I've never actually put a price to my work. Only recently, after speaking with that guy whose whole family purchases art, did he say to me, you really could be making a lot of money with this. I mean, I'm in a small town at the moment, a small coastal town at the moment. We're not known for having a lot of money, and I would like to start charging, and I would like to start doing it, but I'm going to start small. I've come to realize that synchronicity is a amazing thing. I mean, only now recently, when I've made the decision to really pursue this and hopefully make a career out of it, is everything falling into place. Suddenly, when you've made the right decision in life, things fall into place. I mean, I'm sitting here with you having an interview which is going to go online, and I still sit and think to myself, is my art me? Am I good enough for that? And it's kind of mind-blowing, because I made this decision recently, and look at what's happening. I've got people flooding to me saying, listen, please, will you do a drawing for me? I'll pay you to do it. And it's crazy. It's crazy. Like, suddenly you start thinking to yourself, maybe I am good enough. Maybe I am. So this is the start of my journey. It's not the start of my art. It's the start of my journey. Funny enough, most of the stuff that I've got at the moment has either come from online, Take-A-Lot. I mean, it's just standard sand. I mean, yes, online you can get a whole bunch of stuff that's aimed towards being artists. But you can, I mean, sandpaper, you can get that at a hardware store. This is just a makeup brush. I picked this up at one of the cheap shops in town. There doesn't have to be a lot of cost to us. I think that was also another reason I stopped during the years, is because I was in survival mode. I'm raising 3 kids by myself. And the extra costs of getting pencils and the things that you need, I just didn't have it. But things have changed, and you can find decent stuff at half the costs. And it's not that much. I mean, you can put aside 300 Rand and get yourself a decent start. And once you're generating an income, you can grow what you have until you have all the stuff you need. You just need the basics at the moment. I mean, I was watching this little skit last night of a guy doing a sketch with a burnt match. With a burnt match. And it was incredible. So there's always somewhere to start. No, to be honest, no, not really. It wasn't really inspired by what I'd seen on TV or by other people as such. It was my own self-discovery. It was my own realization that I actually had a talent, and it was something that I could work with. So, sure, there's a lot of inspiring stuff out there. But strangely enough, it was never something that resonated with me. I think one of my biggest inspirations was my mom got remarried, and the guy that she got remarried to moved into our home, and he put up these pencil drawings that he had purchased years and years before they'd even met. And they were exquisite. It was a cheetah, an elephant, a giraffe, and they looked like black and white photographs done with the most amazing camera you could possibly think of. And looking at those every single day, I think, was more of an inspiration than anything I saw on TV and anybody that I really spoke with. Looking at those and thinking, that's a level I would love to get to. Strangely enough, it wasn't people. It was something so simple that was not in any design other than the fact that he had moved into our house and put pictures up. Lockdown was insane. I had been working in Durban, and because of the whole lockdown thing, it was basically, I had been working there for 6 months, and it was last in, first out. And I think it was a banking corporation. They knew that things were about to go quite bad. And I lost my job. I moved lock, stock and barrel back to Pennington with all 3 kids. And the intention was that my older brother would pay my rent for a month or 2 whilst I got back on my feet and found a job and got us all going. And then lockdown hits. Now I'm sitting there, I've had no savings. I've just spent everything I had on a move. I'm stuck with 3 kids in the house, running around, going crazy. Literally, there were days that we were on a prepaid meter and I was running out of electricity. We would spend days with no hot water, no nothing, because I just didn't have the means to put electricity in, never mind feed us. So lockdown was insane. Again, there was no thought of drawing and any kind of thing creative because I just wasn't in the mind space for it. I really wasn't. It was survival 101, and it was scary and bad, and my kids were terrified, and people would talk, and it terrifies them more. As much as we like to think that they don't catch on to everything that's happening around them, they do. So there was definitely no creative juices flowing then. There was lots of stress, no creativity at all. So again, that was during my 8-year gap of not doing anything. Yeah, lockdown was terrible. It was terrible. And people start talking about it happening again, and I can't even begin to imagine going through all of that again. We've kind of forgotten again as a nation what it was like to go through all of that, and whether that's a strategy or not, who really knows. But yeah, load shedding, I think, I don't think there's anybody that's going to have anything positive to say about it. It was relentless and frustrating, and it impacted so many things. I mean, how many households changed to solar and to gas and to whatever they could afford to try and live as normal a life as possible around the whole load shedding thing. I mean, it impacts everything. It impacts school, it impacts kids, it impacts ability to do homework at night. It's very frustrating. Businesses, geez, the businesses. I mean, just yesterday, this whole area was out for most of the day, and once the electricity's out, eventually the Wi-Fi goes out, and eventually the water stops coming because the pumps aren't running. And if it stays out for long, it starts impacting not just this town, but obviously the next town will get the dregs of what's left in the parks, and then it stops, and so it goes. So, and that is really frustrating. How do you run a business like that? I mean, we complain about running a household like that, but how do you run a business? How do you run a business like that with no water, no power? I mean, dry cleaners, what do they do? What, they can't iron, they can't wash, they can't do anything. I mean, restaurants can still semi-function depending on what equipment they have, but it's frustrating. It's super frustrating. I mean, and a lot of them have put in generators, and a lot of them have put in inverters and put down so much money whilst they're trying to generate an income. Where does it end? And how much are we, and how much do they expect people to be able to really spend out in order just to try and continue to make a living? AI is generating images that literally take seconds for it to come up with. It's easy, it's convenient, people are going to take it, they're going to use it, there's a lot of people out there trying to advertise products and promote products. I mean, and there's so many people doing it that they've got to come up with something different and something catchy. And you see all over the place how people are suggesting, you use an AI platform, you can get your sounds, you can get your images, you don't even have to put your face up there, and it will generate a whole thing for you. So what is going to happen to people that use arts as a means to advertise things? I mean, they're waiting for people to come to them and say, hey, this is my idea, would you be able to put this together for me? Whereas they can in seconds have it on AI. I mean, it's taking away from people, and artists of all kinds, whether it be musical or graphic design or whatever it is, they're all going to suffer. They're all going to suffer, and it's really scary. AI has the potential to completely take over, and half of people can't wait because it's going to make everything so easy and convenient. It's learning to get comfortable with convenience, like super convenience, and you don't have to go outside anymore. You can order everything off offline, and they've gotten comfortable with that. And slowly but surely, AI is going to give them other creature comforts, and they're going to get comfortable with that until it gets to the point where people are going to turn around and realize AI is completely taken over. People are losing their jobs, and it's not just artists that are losing their jobs, it's people that work in the shops. They're going to lose their jobs. There's going to be no need for them. They're going to be replaced, and house cleaners are going to be replaced. I mean, you look at that stupid little thing that goes around and cleans the floor, and eventually they're going to come up with other things if they're not already. I mean, look at the robots that they're coming up with and the things that they do, and they're replacing partners in your life, and people are okay with this. I don't understand. It's always a bigger thing out there that we don't know about. And quite scary. I don't even know if I want to know everything about it. And as soon as you start diving down these rabbit holes and understanding what's really going on, it's sickening. It's really sickening. I know I take my time doing my drawings, and I'm scared that I'm not going to be able to meet a demand. But again, it's all the self-doubt. It starts creeping back in. Can I do this? Am I going to be able to pull this off? What happens if I can't do it? But what happens if I can't keep up? But where I see myself headed, I really do want to be doing this as a full-time professional. I would love to branch out into illustration books, not only what I have been playing with, the idea of old African proverbs. And I know that African proverbs have been, it's rinsed and repeated so many times. I want to dig really deep. I want to find the old stories that have stopped being told, and they have for quite a while, and people have almost forgotten them. I want to go and dig out those stories and talk to the old Nkulus and find their stories and laugh and create children's books with illustrations and publish them. That's something else I also would love to do. I will branch out from there, but that's where I'd like to start. Okay, so this is all anew because obviously you have shared your videos with me, and I have not had time to go through all of them, but the ones that I have seen have been really awesome and really inspiring. Your logo at the end of them has been the 3 wise monkeys: see no evil, hear no evil, speak no evil. And so while speaking with you, whilst I'm not done, again, I told you I take my time, working on a new sort of logo for the end of each of your productions. So again, it will get done, and it will be done today, but not during the interview. Multitasking, not one of my fortes. There's not very much about it that I don't like. Like you say, it's that taking the Stanley blade and scraping this off. It's the sound of the pencils moving around inside the box. It's closing the tin. It's silly and it's ridiculous, but it's so satisfying. Go where you need to go. I mean, it's the most simple things. It's the pencil on the sketch pad making the sounds of the strokes, the pencil strokes. Those are the kinds of things that I would gladly share.